can't believe I've been making videos on Hermes for almost 3 years now. Yeah, we have never done this, but I guess it's better later than never. Today we're going back to basics and we're going to be discussing some commonly used Hermes terms that are specific to the brand, which I'm hoping will give you a little bit more confidence if you're new to Hermes and you're too intimidated to ask questions when you're in store. And hopefully it will also give you more insight into what Hermes has to offer beyond the popular pieces that you're already familiar with. So without further ado, if you'd like to sound like an Hermes connoisseur, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Now, if you are a seasoned Hermes collector or if you're someone who has been watching my videos for a while, please by all means continue watching and add to whatever I say. I would love to hear your experience and your insights. I think everyone in the comment section would really appreciate hearing from you and learning from your experiences. So if there's anything that you would like to add, if you disagree with what I say, if it's different from your personal experience, or if your boutique has a different policy, please feel free to share in the comment section down below. You guys always have the most incredible insights, and I know that there are people out there who will find them really, really helpful. But without further ado, as I said, let's go back to basics. We're going to start with one of the most basic terms that I would love for you to be familiar with when it comes to shopping at Hermes, which is the term of quota bags. Now, it's not a term that any other brand uses. It's something that Hermes first invented. It definitely started when I first started buying Hermes. So just about 10 years ago, I think this term came about because there was a point in time, believe it or not, when you could get as many Hermes bags as you wanted. You could buy as many Birkins, as many Kellys, as many Constances as they had available. So if you walked into a store and they had one on display, or if they had one available, you were able to buy it. But slowly but surely the demand grew so big that Hermes tried to put a limit on how many bags each client was able to get their hands on. Not necessarily, I'm sure making the bags more exclusive was also part of it, and it was also a big marketing push. But when I first started buying Hermes, the way it was explained to me is that Hermes wanted to make sure that everyone has a fair chance of getting their hands on their dream bag, and they wanted to allow a wider group of people to buy these bags rather than those who had the time and the budget to stop by the boutique day after day to ask if there was anything available. Hermes decided that they wanted a wider group of people to have the chance to get their hands on these iconic bags. So they said, we have to stop with this. We have to give more people a chance to get their hands on these bags. So they decided that each customer will be allowed 2 bags each year. Now, this doesn't guarantee that you will get your hands on 2 bags each year, but if you get offered 2 bags or 3 or 4 or 5, you have to choose 2 that you're able to take home each year. At the beginning, you were restricted to buying 1 bag in the first half of the year and then another in the second. These days, most stores, I'm pretty sure globally, allow you to buy 2 bags anytime within 1 year. Again, it's not guaranteed that you'll be offered 2 bags, but if you do get bags offered, you have the chance to take 2 of them home. And when it comes to quota bags, what are quota bags? What do we consider quota bags? So Birkins and Kellys are considered quota bag. This doesn't include the Kelly franchise. So here we're talking about the classic Kelly bag, both in return and cellier structure, but this doesn't include the Kelly pochette, the Kelly Elan, the Kelly Dance. Those are not technically considered quota bags unless they're made of exotic skin, because certain boutiques will consider the Constance made of exotic skins, the Kelly pochette made of exotic skins, and most popular bags that are crafted of the brand's iconic exotic skins, a quota bag. It doesn't go for all stores, but larger boutiques, if you buy an exotic Constance, it is something that they will consider as one of your quota bags for the year. Whereas if you pick it up in regular skin, it's not something that will technically be considered a quota bag. However, since Hermes has become so popular and there's so much demand for these bags, if you buy, let's say, a Kelly pochette, you might not get offered another small Kelly bag that year. And it's not because you're not allowed to buy it technically, but purely because there's so much demand for these bags. I feel like most Hermes boutiques are trying their best to split the bags that they do have available fairly among their most valued clients. So if you get a Kelly pochette, don't be surprised if you don't get offered another small Kelly bag for a while. It's not because you bought a quota bag. It might be because there are so many other people out there who are lusting after these small bags who don't have anything similar in their collections, which I think does make sense. So the Kelly franchise is not considered a quota bag unless the piece that you pick up is made of exotic skin. And I know exactly what you're thinking. What about the Constance G? So the Constance really depends on where you shop. Some stores will not consider, well, technically none of the stores will consider the Constance bag a quota bag unless it's made of exotic skin. But the Constance can be something that Hermes calls a wishlist bag. So the Birkin, the Kelly, and the Constance is what I call the holy trinity of Hermes bags. That's not a proper term. I don't know if anyone else uses that. It's a term that I say quite often because these are Hermes's most popular bags that Hermes collectors lust after. But depending on where you shop, some stores will consider the Constance bag a wishlist bag, which means that these bags are reserved for local clients and you have to put in a wish for one of these bags. Some stores are more formal about these wishes than others. I think in Europe they are trying to implement a more universal system where you have to put an exact wish into an iPad or into your advisor's phone a couple of times a year. They open the wish list and they'll invite some of their most valued clients to put in a wish where you have to choose the exact bag that you want, the color, the leather, the size, and all the little details, and you have to be as specific as you possibly can be. Some stores will consider the Constance bag a wishlist bag, meaning that you have to put in a wish for it and it will be reserved for local clients, so you don't have the chance to get your hands on one as a tourist, or at least your chances are very, very low. But then there are certain boutiques where I assume the Constance bag isn't as popular, or they have more of them to go around, like the boutique in Milan that won't consider the Constance a wishlist bag, meaning that you can walk into the store even as a tourist and ask if they have one available. I'm not saying that they will offer you one right on the spot, but it is not something that you have to put in a specific wish for. And speaking of being offered a bag, what does an Hermes bag offer mean? So we have discussed what a quota bag is, what a wishlist bag is, putting in a wish for a bag. The next step in the process of getting your hands on your dream bag is being offered an Hermes bag. So after putting in a request for whatever bag you would like, Hermes will try to grant your wish. Now, it doesn't always mean that you will be offered the exact bag that you asked for, but it will hopefully be something along the lines of what you requested. Or obviously, if you've been shopping with Hermes for a while, the longer you shop with the brand, the more pieces you pick up, the more pieces you turn down, because an offer you don't necessarily have to accept. You can easily turn down an offer, and that will also help to give your advisor get a better understanding of what pieces you're interested in. So when they offer you something, it might be exactly what you asked for. It might be something completely different because they would like to offer you something, or perhaps it's something that your boutique believes would suit you, would suit your aesthetic, and it would go well with what you already have in your collection. Or if you're brand new to the brand, they might offer you something that they feel would be the best way to jumpstart your collection. And again, the longer you shop with the same store, the better understanding they'll have of what pieces you could be interested in. So a bag offer is Hermes basically showing up with a bag for you to see. There was a point in time when being offered a bag was a lot easier. I remember when I first started buying Hermes, I would be offered a bag, not every month, but quite regularly, whereas these days, I do get bags offered every now and again, but I won't even ask to look at them if I know I'm not interested in, or I don't even, have the slightest interest in buying one, just because even after all these years, I still love the experience of being offered a nicely sealed bag, one that is opened for me for the very first time, and I try not to take that experience away from anyone else. So sometimes you'll hear me say I was asked about this bag instead of saying I was offered a bag. In my opinion, being offered a bag is when they physically show you the bag. You have the chance to play around with it and decide if it's something that you would like to take home or not. There's nothing wrong with turning down a bag. Don't think that you will be blacklisted. Don't think that Turning down a bag will hurt your chances. If anything, it can help you get a better understanding of what it is that you're truly after. It is way too much money to spend on something that won't make you truly happy. Now, obviously, if it's extremely close to what you originally asked for, I would be careful with turning down a bag. But if it's very different, if it's not the color, the size, the leather, or even the style, feel free to turn it down. It can actually help you in the long run, in my personal experience. But when it comes to being asked about a bag, which is a term that I will use sometimes, it can mean two things. It either means that Hermes knows that there is a bag coming in, they don't know when and who it's going to, or if it's a bag that's spoken for, but it's possible that your advisor will ask you if it's something that you would be interested in. And if you say yes, they'll try to express your interest to the store director and manager, who ultimately decides who these bags go to. Or it's also possible that they already have the bag available and they want to gauge your interest before asking for an approval from the store director, who will have to release the bag to you after looking at your profile and making sure that you are the right candidate and client to take home that particular piece. But when it comes to a bag offer, it usually means your wish being granted. The next term on my list was special order bags, also known as SO bags or HSS bags, which stands for horseshoe stamp bags, but the official Hermes term is the a la carte bags, which I wanted to discuss these terms in today's video, but I realized I should do an updated video on all the different ways of having custom pieces made by Hermes. So if it's something that you would like to see from me, all the different really fun and unique ways of not only customizing your already existing Hermes pieces, but having custom pieces made for you, let me know in the comment section. It's something that I would love to do an updated video on. So I'm just going to run through it really briefly. I'm not going to go into details, but if there's anything else that you would like to know about this process, let me know in the comment section and I can address that when it comes to my upcoming Hermes customization video, which I will come up with a better title than that, something that is a little bit more descriptive. But anyway, if you're not familiar with the special order experience, I'm sure most people are at this point. It is basically an experience that Hermes offers twice a year, usually once in the fall and once in the spring, where they invite a very small select group of their most valued clients to create their dream bag. They allow these clients to choose one of the bags from their currently existing range, so pieces that are currently in production. Most people will go for, of course, a Birkin or a Kelly, but you can in theory choose any one of Hermes's bags that are currently in production. You get to choose the color, the size, the leather that it's made of, the structure, the stitching, and even the hardware. And if the bag comes with a strap, most bags you can even customize the strap length for. However, you cannot just choose any color that you want. There are limits on what colors you can choose from, and these limits are stated in the a la carte menu, which changes every single season. Now, there are staple colors that will always be, or that rarely come off the a la carte menu, but it will be updated each and every single season with seasonal colors and shades. And these shades you can find in the a la carte trunk, which Hermes has around all year round. It's not something that they send back to the corporate office. It's something that stays with them. So if you ever want to see a certain Hermes color, if you are interested in touching a leather that perhaps your boutique doesn't have on hand, you can always ask to see it in this little trunk that Hermes should have available at all times. And it can be quite confusing because when it comes to the a la carte experience, you would think that you can choose any one of the colors that are in the trunk, but that's not the case. You have to always double check that the color you are seeing in person on that little leather card is also available on the a la carte menu, because if you order something that is not technically available, your wish might be rejected and they won't be able to place another one unless they submit the wish within the a la carte period. If they submit your wish at the end and no one picks up on the fact that you ordered something that is not technically being offered for the season, it's possible that you won't be able to order another special order bag until the next a la carte season comes around. So That's basically what the a la carte special order horseshoe stamp experience entails. But if there's anything else you would like to know, let me know in the comment section and I will try my best to address that in my next video on the topic. This next term, I'm not sure if you'll need at the beginning of your Hermes journey, but if you have been around the block for a while and you feel like, okay, I'm ready to buy something a little bit more substantial, it's very important for you to understand what sites are. Now, sites are legal documents that come with your exotic purchases, larger exotic purchases. What are exotic purchases, you may ask? Exotic leathers, there are plenty of them that Hermes uses. Hermes, of course, considers ostrich an exotic leather, lizard, different types of croc, which there are several different types of croc out there. Each one has their own pros and cons. And then there is also alligator, which is not the same as croc. My personal favorite exotic skin is alligator, and when it comes to exotic skins, the different types of croc and alligator will come with this thing called the sites, and it's not something that Hermes does exclusively. Most luxury brands will give you sites, which are basically legal documents proving that the piece you're carrying was crafted using ethically sourced exotic skins, and it's not something that you really need unless you're traveling. So it's always good to have these things on you. Personally, I never really carry sites on me physically. Whenever I buy an exotic piece, which doesn't happen often, I don't have too many exotic pieces. I have only ever bought one exotic bag from Hermes and several smaller accessories, mainly made of matte alligator. Whenever I buy one, I immediately take a picture of the sites so I have it on my phone, but I have to be honest, I have never once been asked for it. I do have friends who are really big on carrying these things with them at all times. I personally don't. I will always take a picture of these sites just in case I'm ever asked for them, but it really shouldn't be needed unless you're traveling and custom wants to check what things you are carrying. But when it comes to buying exotic pieces from Hermes, more substantial, larger pieces, as long as they are made of alligator or croc, they should come with these sites. And I think, do lizard pieces come with sites? I'm not sure. I have never bought a larger lizard piece from Hermes. Might be something to look into. If you have ever bought a more substantial piece made of lizard, please let us know in the comment section. I do have sites for my alligator pieces, but I'm not sure. I mean, I only have, I think, a belt made of lizard from Hermes, and then ostrich pieces do not come with sites, so it's not something that you have to worry about. But if you know about lizard, please let us know in the comment section. And last but not least, this is a term that you need to be familiar with, which is the term of H number. Now, H number is basically Hermes's name for an item code or a reference number. Each and every single Hermes piece out there has a so-called H number, and it is called an H number because their item numbers will always start with an H. So if you ever see something online, if you see me unbox something that you really like, if you see something on social media, instead of asking for the name, it's actually a lot easier if you ask for the H number, because that H number guarantees that your boutique will be able to track the exact same piece down for you. Now, when it comes to bags, the H number, I think they put the H number on the invoice at this point, and it's also on that little sticker that comes on the box, but these days they will remove that sticker before you are able to take your bag home. You can ask your advisor to leave it on the box for you, but sometimes they're not able to do that. But the H number should be on the invoice, which is not really important to share because you know how difficult bags are to get. But if you see something that is readily available, you can ask for the H number, and if you share that number with your local boutique, if you see an H number online that you share with your boutique, that is the best way of tracking down the exact piece that you saw online. Or again, as I said, if you see something online that you love but you don't want to buy that piece online by yourself, instead you want to get it through your boutique, which is what I would recommend. You can just find the H number or the reference number online and send that directly to your advisor, because that will help to lead them to exactly what you are looking for. And my friends, this completes today's video. I really hope that it was helpful and it wasn't overly redundant, but I was thinking, you know, when I first started buying Hermes, there wasn't anything like this available out there. None of this information existed online, and I so wish I had someone breaking things down for me. So I hope you feel the same way. I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And let me know in the comment section if there are any other terms that you would like me to discuss in a future video. But for now, I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I hope to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.